Hello everyone, welcome to Bullerland. I'm sitting here again with a smartphone, and it's the Xiaomi T, which was presented today in Berlin, at least for the European market. The MSRP for the Xiaomi T starts at 649, while the slightly larger variant with double the storage is available from 699. But you know how it is with Xiaomi, there are always many early buyer promotions. And if you order the thing soon, you'll even get a Redmi Pad Pro with it, which currently costs around 250. And you can also order a power adapter for €1, which is currently not included, as all manufacturers are doing these days. So, what do we get in the package? You know the Xiaomi 14T Pro from the packaging. There's nothing surprising about it. Xiaomi HyperOS. This is the Titan Blue variant with 512 GB of internal storage and around 12 GB of RAM. Such a large box. Certainly, considering there is no power adapter inside. SIM eject tool, at least a USB-A to USB-C cable, and another case that now looks relatively unremarkable. Let's set 2021 aside for now. Here we have the Xiaomi T, again, along with the summarized information. I don't even have to read it, it's all written here. What is probably special about it are, of course, the Leica lenses, which were created in collaboration with Leica. Xiaomi custom image sensor. Yeah, I have no idea, as far as I know. I think there's a Sony sensor in there. 2001 leading AI experience, which is something every smartphone manufacturer is now putting on their products. MediaTek Dimensity 8300 Ultra, so no Snapdragon or anything like that, which doesn't surprise me given the price. But what might be quite interesting is that the MediaTek Dimensity 8300 Ultra may sound familiar to you. Yes, I had that at the beginning of the year when I introduced the Poco X Pro, and it also had an 8300 Ultra in it. And that was basically, yes, in January, February. So you can really tell where you are. Poor processor, but this is definitely not the first league of next generation. 144 Hz AI display. I don't know why there is an AI display in it now, but 144 Hz. A nice greeting to Apple, who still uses 60 Hz displays in their iPhones. And here we have 67 watt hypercharge, which is quite okay. In the Pro variant, I believe it even has 120 watts. And now let's just take a look at how this thing feels in the hand. And yes, that's what I always say about Xiaomi. They really make damn good hardware. You have to like the software, but I always find the hardware very smooth, and it doesn't feel heavy at all. It might not sound solid, but when you hold it, it's light, yet still feels high quality, which I always find quite interesting. Here we have a power button. Let's press it to turn it on. There's a volume rocker here, and we probably have microphones here. The SIM card slot is on the bottom. A speaker here, another USB-C port, more microphones, and of course we have the camera module. You can see that a fourth camera has been added. This is suitable for the case here. I already mentioned the Poco X Pro earlier. You obviously won't get these cameras with the Leica lenses on the X Pro. And I believe that is one of the biggest differences compared to the Poco series. Yes, here we have 144 Hz instead of 120 Hz or something like that. But otherwise, you shouldn't expect too many differences, especially since we have HyperOS on here. Let's quickly set it up, just to see what bloatware is installed. I'll skip that part for now. I don't think it's very interesting for you. So, the setup is now complete, and let's take a look at what CN apps are installed by default. And, of course, we see the usual Google apps here. A few Xiaomi apps are installed here. Then we also have the Opera app, Booking.com, Netflix, and Gemini is already installed. What else do we have here? Facebook, LinkedIn. So there aren't really any terrible bloatware items on it, but there are a few things installed. However, those can be relatively easily uninstalled. What might be quite interesting is that this thing also has a fingerprint scanner. You see the thing down here, and I actually have relatively dirty fingers right now, but it works quite reliably. So now we can quickly check the display to see if it is really set to 144 Hz, because most of the time it is not configured that way. Refresh rate standard, Exactly, it always adjusts the matter, or we adjust it depending on what you are currently using. So, and now it flows a bit more smoothly. I already mentioned that the Dimensity 8300 Ultra is not exactly in the top tier of processors, but you can actually play pretty much anything you want with it. I could do that with the Poco X Pro back then as well, so you really don't need to worry about that. The question is more about how long the battery will last, but thanks to Hypercharge, that shouldn't be an issue. I don't have a Xiaomi charger here right now. I only have my Anker Prime charging station next to me. Let's see how much I can charge with it. Fast charging told me that we are now at 1820 watts, 21 watts, 22 watts. Yes, now at 21 watts it stops at 22 watts. So it's not slow either, but you will only be able to fully utilize its potential if you actually have a Xiaomi charger. But yes, I am actually already at 24 watts. What I'm going to do now is use the camera, which is the special feature of this device. So I will just record a bit more footage. I will not edit it. I will record it in 4K when I make videos. So I always try to use the maximum resolution. And yes, then you can just decide for yourselves whether it's worth it or not. To conclude, if cameras are important to you, then the Xiaomi T might be a good option for you. If you say you don't necessarily need it, then in my opinion, you can easily access the Poco X Pro because it has a 6.67-inch display and similar specs. Therefore, it doesn't make much of a difference and you save a lot of money. Now I've talked enough and now enjoy the recordings. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care. Bye bye. 4K 30 FPS HDR mode. With this weather, there can't be any bright colors either. The robot is all muddy and doesn't feel like it. I can understand that with this weather. Yes, it's a bit rainy here and my wife is working again. But here we can hardly work with zoom 2 times or 4 times. It's certainly not 100 zoom, but indeed I can have everything. And this is the wide angle camera. Wide angle simply twice, 4 times. So now we are known. Can I go back in? That's not enough already. So this is now the main camera at 40 in 4K 30 FPS. And there you see the neighbors driving by. There are the solar panels. The car is also there. Unfortunately, the weather is really bad. Let's zoom around a bit. The digital zoom reaches its limits again, as you can clearly see. But yes, at least up to the 2-fold zoom. I believe it is an optical zoom, if I'm not mistaken. So, this is the front camera. I am currently recording in 4K at 30 FPS. You see how many front cameras have their problems in low light conditions. And that's why we're going to the construction site where there's a bit more light. And it holds up a bit here now too. But yes, in good lighting conditions, the front camera can actually perform quite well. You can even see it here first. Amazing. Yes, so that's the front camera up there, and yes, it's better than in the past, but don't expect too much. 1000 it.